What's up, YouTube? I really seriously thought I could walk away from this topic, and no, it's not user feedback or people who've been very adamant against my position that I don't believe guns as a whole need to completely go away, or that guns are the main factor behind what's been going on lately. In fact, I've had a rather big disagreement with the user who I really do still recommend, Lady Tiger Lily. I'll try to put a link down to her channel down in the underbar, where she seems to say that guns are a huge part of America's problem. And she's a gun owner herself, and she's for responsible gun owning. And I want to make that clear before anybody goes to her channel just to yell at her because you think she's taking our guns. No, she doesn't. But there is a conversation here. There's one of many conversations, and I've been wanting to do a lot of these conversations as of lately. So consider this a warning. This will be a multi-part topic that I shall hopefully be able to finish up tonight in 10-minute segments. And yes, I am going to try to hold myself to that even more than I've been trying so far. I digress. So let me start with the easier talk here, the one that is probably most ridiculous. You had one job, NRA, one job. Yes, it is hard for me not to punctuate that with the profanity that I feel would be necessary. I digress. They had home court advantage. Say what you will about the NRA, for once they did the most respectful thing, which is something that a lot of you antis out there cannot claim. They kept their damn mouths shut and let the families mourn for at least a week before coming out and saying something ludicrously stupid. And yes, I put some of you antis in that camp, and I will explain myself throughout this series because I don't like when you come out and just say, when the bodies aren't even cold yet, and you're ready and willing to stand on those bodies as if those bodies are a soapbox to expunge your moralistic ideals about, ugh, guns bad, and that all of our problems would be magically solved tomorrow if guns went away. They wouldn't. The NRA outrespected you, and for that, I still have to give them at least 1 point. Because I at least was willing to apologize for me trying to address the antis before I had finished a lot more of the research, which will be presented in today's installment of this topic here. And in fact, to add punctuality to what I'm talking about, my little mouse pad, so that I can operate my little camera works here at this point, is Grand Theft Auto 4, which I got for Christmas. Thanks, Santa. I digress. All you had to do, NRA, to really upped the stakes. You had home court advantage by being the most respectful out of all the parties out there. And that includes the loudmouth pro-gunners who came out at the same day as the loudmouth anti-gunners who came out at the same day, not letting people mourn because of your indignation. Oh, you're one of those. Not now. Let's be respectful. Well, if not now, then when? When the next shooting happens, which ironically did tend to happen, there was a rapid secession here because we're falling apart. But I digress. The reason we are not falling apart is video games, amongst other things that were cited by the NRA. But you had one job, NRA. Come out and say, we will comprehensively work with Congress as well as with our own members to ban assault rifles, to ban extended clips. That's all you had to do. That is all you had to do. Because there have been talks and there have been successful implementations of buyback programs in different states of this union. There are programs that have shown people are willing to give up their guns so long as it isn't just I'm going to break into your house with a government warrant and seize all your weapons, which is not something I want, and it's not something most of you should want, because unfortunately that will already complicate an already complicated situation here. But that's all you had to do, and you would have come out of this as the better people, NRA. You really would have. Instead, you found somebody who would do, what, 2 minutes worth of research? And that's probably generous, because that's probably saying that they did any research whatsoever, which they didn't. Because at least on the subject of are video games turning our youth into gun-wielding maniacs, the answer is an emphatic no. I'm sorry. I'm biased because I like video games, because I play video games, and violent ones at that. Okay, I will take you up on that offer. To close out this section, let's talk to somebody who actually researches video games for a living, who has, varying degrees, professor of psychology and criminal justice at Texas A&M. This is from Chris Ferguson. As a video game violence researcher and someone who has done scholarships on mass homicide, let me state very emphatically, there is no good evidence that video games or other media contribute, even in a small way, to mass homicides or other violence amongst youth. Ferguson also says that we don't have yet any specifics on shooters' media consumption to make any links as to causality. At this point, we don't know much about Adam Lanzer's media use history, given that as researchers Cheryl Olson and Lawrence Coulter noted in their book Grand Theft Childhood, almost all young males play violent video games, at least occasionally. It's playing the odds to say that Lanza did too, but that has all the predictive power of saying that he sometimes wore sneakers or ate breakfast. In their 2002 evaluation of school shooters, the U.S. Secret Service found no evidence to suggest that such perpetrators' consumption of media violence consumed any more media violence than anyone else. In other words, most of these shooters are not rage monkeys a la the movie 28 Days Later. Massive consumption is maybe not the best thing you want to do, but I'm going to go out on a very big limb here. Now, I am purposefully committing a logical fallacy by using myself and most of my classmates or the people who I grew up with as an example. We had movies like RoboCop, where you see in graphic practical effect detail a guy being disassembled with a pistol. Not exactly my favorite parts of the movie, but it wasn't something that I necessarily shied away from. I grew up with the most realistic toy guns ever. Guns that eventually had to get that slightly annoying orange cap on it because stupid kids were pointing guns at cops and getting shot because the cop can't tell if, oh, is that black shape in their hand a gun or not? Is my life in danger or not? And another reason why I've pointed you guys out to Tiger Lily is part of what I'm going to be talking about in the next video. But links to the article of the researcher who's done all this research, which I could have told you about and have told you about on my past channel, that there is weak, if any, evidence in terms of linking consumption of violent media, be it music, movies, literature, or what have you, and someone actually, going out and committing crimes. This is the same fallacy that people make when they try to make the connection that consumption of pornography leads to rape, because that's just how that works, or that's how that's supposed to work, apparently. Anyways, thank you for watching this first video. Let's see how this far this rabbit hole goes.